Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine. You're listening to a new Two Cyber Chicks podcast. You're about to join Erika and Jax for an inclusive cybersecurity conversation designed to educate and break the stereotypes of cybersecurity professionals while providing life hacks on how to handle burnout, networking, and goal setting. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
All right, everyone. We are so excited to be talking to Alissa Knight today. Alissa is, her background is extensive. So I'm going to give you a high-level overview, but definitely go check her out. Alissa is a board member. She's a cybersecurity filmmaker, screenwriter, published author, content creator, hacker, entrepreneur, CISO, and I'm serious, the list goes on and on. That's just like probably 10%. On top of that, her professional studies range from intelligent operations to marketing to strategic thinking and building and implementing growth strategies. And beyond that, Alissa, you're also an ISO 20001 lead auditor, certified anti-terrorism specialist, and have held designations of certified SCADA security architect, certified intrusion analyst, and the prestigious CISSP. Your background, as I've stated, is super impressive, and that's just a little bit of it. I know Eric and I are like super pumped to dive into this conversation with you today. How are you, Alissa?
I'm good. I feel like we just took up the whole show talking about my resume. End show, run credits. I'm kidding. No, thank you so much. I love being on your show. Thank you for always having me as a guest. Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to meet you too, Erika.
Yeah, no, this has been an episode we've been talking about for a long time. We've definitely been following all the cool stuff you do. You have one of the coolest backgrounds, honestly. I'm geeking out just having you here. And I'm super excited to dive into it, really. Yeah. You've gone from hacker to producer. It's crazy to me how you got in this field. I want to hear about kind of your origin story in terms of how did you get here where you are today? If you can give us a Cliff Note version, I know we can talk about it all day long.
Yeah, for sure. So most of the world knows me as a recovering hacker, but it wasn't as far as my origin story and going into filmmaking. I sort of just kind of woke up one morning and realized, oh my God, I'm a filmmaker now. It started at Night Inc. with one of our clients, Elusive, who wanted us to go from writing white papers for them to doing video. And with the video explosion happening, everyone really wanting, the TikTok generation wanting everything in the size of a video, we realized that this is the direction that content really is going. People want to ingest content differently now. We really felt that people just weren't downloading 15, 20-page white papers anymore and reading them. Everyone wants to digest video now, or audio in the case of podcasts. So what happened was we created this sort of video, how would I describe it? It really wasn't an episodic short film. It was more kind of just a really short, I want to say 15-minute video where I was hacking a network, and it was called View from the Attacker. And I was hacking into a network and just going through the techniques that I would do when hacking a network, pivoting laterally, and disabling EDR, showing how possible that was. And the video went viral. It took off. It was their most successful marketing campaign in the history of the company. And we realized that we just had so much fun. And we realized that this is where a lot of the demand from our clients was going. And so we decided to form a group of companies, my wife and I. And Night Studios was the new company that we're creating, that we were going to do production videos on and just producing short films. So what we did was we reached out to our existing clients and said, hey, look, we're doing filmmaking and we'll create the screenplay. We went out and we invested, several $100,000 into actual cinema equipment. So cinema cameras, we shoot with the red cinema camera, which is what Hollywood uses, and a lot of cinematic lighting. And we made this huge investment, went in big, and it just really took off. It's now about more than 85% of our annual revenues. And what we do is we do these episodic short films for cybersecurity vendors. So our whole mission statement is we're bringing industrial light and magic to cybersecurity.
OMG. Okay. The TikTok generation, that is like so real for this right now. I'd almost call you a pioneer in this space, really.
Yeah,
like,
we're radically, I really feel like we're radically transforming cybersecurity marketing. We really don't believe that people want to be advertised to anymore. HubSpot just put out this report that was more than 64% of buyers now prefer to learn about products through video. And I just feel like the world is changing. Marketing is changing. We're super excited to announce that our last film was selected by Cannes Independent Film Festival, and now we've submitted to Sundance. And we just got signed as a studio with AMC Movie Theaters. So AMC is premiering our films at their theaters, 1,200 something theaters nationwide. So we're super excited. Yeah, a lot of exciting things going on.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is an incredible feat on its own. But I mean, the biggest thing to me that's sticking out is like you really bet on yourself. You saw an opportunity and you made it happen. You made that investment in yourself and you've kind of like created this path for yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look at my career over the last 22 years, it was never about creating a really shiny, cool toy and then try to figure out how to market and sell it and productize it. It was always created around demand at the time or something that I needed. So my first company that I started and sold at 17 and sold to a public company when I was 20, that was a company that I created around customer demand for, at the time. And then my second company I created and sold when I was 24, I sold to a public company, was a product that I created because I needed that product. So I created a company around it and it took off. This company was created around the demand for, this sort of new type of marketing and using episodic short films. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to create a series, sort of like a Netflix series, where we wove the products of our customers into the story arc. So instead of just trying to sell the features and capabilities of our product, and what you do, we're big believers in Simon Sinek's people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. We wanted to weave their product into the storylines. So you, Erika, while you're binge watching this sort of, Black Mirror style, Mr. Robot style series, you could go back to the office and buy the product. So that's what we wanted to do, was really just create a storyline around it. And I feel like, you need to affect buyers now at a visceral level in order to market a brand or a product to them that they could just, make a part of their lives. We have some people that reach out to us and say, hey, I watch your movies with my daughter. I watch your films with my son. And, now they're excited about cybersecurity. So I really feel like we're almost helping to build the next generation of cybersecurity engineers through these short films.
Absolutely. You're way ahead of your time. You're paving the road for so many, but it's also like you have this incredible gift of like knowing what the market needs and being super insightful and strategic about that, which is amazing. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of your current projects. Is there any tea?
Yeah. We have some new series coming out. So this actually, a lot of this came off being approached from a producer that wanted, so I'll give you a little bit of backdrop on that, Erika, because I know this is our first time meeting, but so I was bot ended. They wanted to do a new series where the protagonist was a female, because women can be hackers too. And what happened was we were talking to the production company and I was talking to my wife and I was like, look, why are we giving so much of the revenue and so much of the costs to the production company when we can produce this ourselves? So that was another impetus behind building Knight Studios, was we felt I really feel like that's been the mantra my whole life, is why pay someone else to do this when I can learn it and do it myself? So that's what we did, was we took this new series that they want to do based on my life and produced it ourselves. So we just finished the pilot episode. And so this all originally came out of a Netflix series. And so, now what we're doing is we're doing all of these different stories across these different brands while marketing their products at the same time and telling stories. And I feel like you can't really do that through an advertisement. You can't do that through a white paper. You're just telling a story that affects visual, all these kinesthetic learning styles, visual, audio, and just all of it, it can be done through short films. And I apologize, I completely forgot the original question.
That's funny.
I'm honest about it. I can just lie and pretend like I just answered your question, but I don't think
No, I love it. Raw and authentic. This is what Jax and I, this is what 2 Cyber Chicks, now 3 Cyber Chicks here is.
I love it.
I love hearing about what you're doing. I mean, this does answer my question, right? Like, what are you currently up to? What are the
I'm sorry. We are super excited. We just signed a new series. It's a new FBI series based on BAU2. Just got announced the other day. So you're the first show we're talking about this on. So it's called Dark Ops, and they signed a full season. And so what it is the FBI, if you remember that series Criminal Minds, I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was the Behavioral Analysis Unit of the FBI, or BAU. And so the FBI actually split it up into different BAUs. So there's BAU1, BAU2, BAU3, and so on. And BAU2, Behavioral Analysis Unit 2, is their focus for their criminal profilers is white collar criminals and cyber. So this new series is based on BAU2. And the co-producers of it is this amazing new cybersecurity company called Tago Cyber, and they're a threat intelligence platform. So what we've done is we're creating this new FBI series with their product woven into the storyline. And so in the process of this, we go out, we put a casting call out, all the actors submit their submissions and audition videos, and we select the actors, and then we get the different film locations. And it's this whole Hollywood production. As a matter of fact, we do film part-time in Hollywood, and we also film in Las Vegas, but we have some regular actors that we work with. So Dark Ops is the new franchise that we're starting. That the new episode we're planning on airing in fall of this year. So we're excited about that. And then let's see what else. Scorched Earth, the co-producers are No Name Security. We're super excited about that. That will actually be airing soon as well. And that is actually, the new series is based on my life. So I've taken the entire story arc and the company No Name actually signed up for a full season as well. So we're doing 10 episodes, and each episode is based on the OWASP API Security Top 10. So the first episode is called BOLA. The second episode is called Broken Authentication. And it's this idea, it's based on my work when I was arrested by the FBI and went to go work for the U.S. intelligence community in cyber warfare. So the protagonist in this, Evan Keyes, plays me. And it was really cool because Evan was so respectful of wanting to be as authentic as possible. So she spent time with me, learned all of the things that I did, and wanted to just represent me and my life as authentically as possible. And I really respect her and appreciate her for that. She'll be coming out to the film premiere as well. So we do these Hollywood style movie premieres at AMC for all of our new franchises that launch. So that's unrealistic. And then we also just signed another company, and that's top secret right now. It's classified. I can't really talk about it, but we're super excited. We'll be announcing that soon. And it looks like they're contracting us for full season as well. So we are pretty much producing all of these. We're becoming our own Netflix. We're producing all of this original content for these companies. And what's different about us is our films are premiering at AMC movie theaters as well as streaming online. So we're pretty much becoming like a Marvel Studios for cybersecurity.
I love that. And I actually, for all of the listeners that are curious, I had the opportunity of interviewing Alissa on location at the AMC in San Francisco.
It was a great interview. I loved it because you could see the entire movie theater in the background. I had some people reach out to me and ask me if it was a virtual background. I'm like, no, we're actually in an AMC movie.
So cool. Yeah, I got to actually watch one of the premieres. It was amazing. It was so awesome. Like what you're doing, just like Erika said, is just like groundbreaking. You're definitely before your time, but I see this really, it's going to be taking off, and you're just going to be changing the way that we look at cybersecurity. But where you're doing it is where we need it, which is that younger generation. Like you've really found a way to connect, not just with the general population wanting to see videos, but that younger generation that sometimes that's the only way to communicate with them is those short video clips.
And it's interesting because I was thinking, well, maybe we should make these feature films and make them, an hour and a half, 2.5 hours long, since we are actually premiering at movie theaters. A lot of the research that I've been doing and talking to some of, other millennials and Gen Zers, it's almost gotten to a point now where those feature film lengths are too long for them. They want the short film, 15, 20 minutes, or even like you said, in the size of a TikTok video, 2 minutes long. But, so we're going to continue doing short films, between 15 and 20 minutes long. We do have some folks who are interested in doing a feature film with us, so we're excited about that. But we'll see. I don't know. We're just going to continue to see where this path takes us. The really interesting thing, and I guess this is the first time I'm talking about this now as well. I keep having a first with your show, Jax. I don't know what's going on. There's some company in the life sciences space, and they are having us actually film their cybersecurity awareness training videos. So what we're doing is really this idea is that we want to completely radically change cybersecurity awareness training to employees hate logging in to take computer-based training. They hate it. I hated it when I was even a CISO at the bank. It was horrible, and you do whatever you can to skip past the content, to jump right to the quiz and guess on the answers. And no one's learning anything. So organizations are still vulnerable through their people. And so what this company is wanting to do with us is actually film a series and then have their employees log in like they would watch a Netflix series, log in and watch these shows while entertaining them, teaching them cybersecurity awareness training. And so they don't realize that they're learning. At the same time, they feel like, they're just binge watching a new series. And so that's really what we're going to, so we're taking this whole transformative marketing and experiential marketing and taking it to security awareness training and disrupting the security awareness training space. We're excited about it. I think 2020 to the rest of this year as well as 2023 is going to be incredibly exciting for us.
Yeah, gosh, we could talk so much more on this. And we need to just have you back on the show to do another segment talking about all the work that you're doing in the space, because I really think that we could deep dive into it. I want to pivot us a little bit because I want to talk about the other side of this. We always see we've got 3 cyber chicks right now virtually in a room together that are all high achievers. And what people don't see is the behind the scenes of what takes place to make us those high achievers. Before we did this interview, I went on your LinkedIn and I started scrolling through, and you have 18 different positions on your LinkedIn. And I think some are showing as present. A lot of them are. So you definitely don't waste time. You obviously have figured out ways and tips and tricks to balance things, or maybe you haven't, but how do you juggle everything and then balance and figure out that priority? And then also you're giving back to the community. So a lot of the things that you're doing is going right back into the community. So my question is really how do you do it all, Alissa? It's a lot.
Yeah, so I know this is an audio show right now, and I actually brought my task management sheet with me to New York, but yeah, so the center of gravity for my day is this daily task sheet that I created about 20 years ago. It was based on the Self Journal from Best Self Co. And what it does is if you're familiar with the concept of $0 budgeting, $0 based budgeting, where every dollar that comes in your household, you assign to a job in your budget, so that every single cent is allocated to something for your budget for that month, right? Or for that paycheck period. I took that idea and applied it to time-based budgeting, where every single 30-minute block in my day is allocated to something. So it's just being purposeful about budgeting all of my available time in a day to a specific task and prioritizing it. And so I created this worksheet, and it's worked for me for the last 2 decades. And so what I do is the night before every day, I fill in what my planned activities are across the different companies across this time period for the following day, prioritizing my tasks, making sure that I'm not just busy, that I'm productive, right? Because I feel like all too often we're busy but we're not actually producing anything. So every single thing that I do is actually applied towards a goal, right? So I don't believe in creating a New Year's resolution. I believe in 13-week goals. So every 13 week, I define a goal that I want to achieve. And every single day, I actually put a task in that day towards achieving that 13-week goal. So everything that I'm doing on a daily basis outside of deliverables for film or for clients is towards that 13-week goal. So I know that throughout the next 13 weeks, I know that everything that I'm doing is progress towards that goal and habitualizing the things that I need to be doing. Waking up at 5 a.m., going running, working out, and meditation, all of those things, and reading. So in addition to the 18 roles that I have right now, I also make sure that I carve out time to read it. And so it really, like, one thing in our household and with Mel and I that we never allow is to say, well, I don't have time for this. With that phrase, I don't have time, is not allowed to be said in the Knight household. Because it's not that you don't have time, it's that you didn't make time. And when we realize how much time we spend reading email or taking time out of the day to go to your favorite restaurant and eat lunch, you realize that, well, that actually just took 2 hours. And when you're conscious about making sure that every single 30-minute block is accounted for in your daily task sheet, you realize how much time you're wasting doing things that you didn't know. You were like, if you actually sat down to see how much time you spent reading and responding to email, you would be shocked. Like, I have 2 30-minute blocks assigned to email and then throughout my day. And if I can't get to your email within that 30-minute block, then you're just going to have to wait until that next 30-minute block for me to get to that email. And that's the way that I don't let these tasks run my day. I don't let my day run me. I run my day. And that's the only way that you can really do that.
Wow. Alissa, this is stuff that like Jax and I talk about all the time, in particular to how mindful we are about everything we do in our day. Because it's no surprise, right? Like we used to say, hey guys, time is money. No, like having the time, that's the new priority, right? Like having the ability to make your day your own day, that is freedom. That is like for most people these days, right?
No, yeah, that's a good point. And that's the one thing that I did find is if I don't list the 3 things that I need to get achieved before I go to sleep, it's like that quote, and I'm going to plagiarize Will Smith for a minute. And that was, we don't go to sleep when we're tired, we go to sleep when we're done. And that's the thing. How can you know you're done if you didn't write that down? And that's the thing. It's like when I wake up in the morning, the ingredient to my success is making sure that I do my daily task sheet the night before. I never wake up in the morning half awake, groggy, on my first cup of coffee, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do that day. I do it the night before when I'm 100% there and focused at what I wasn't able to get done that day and needs to be moved to tomorrow. So I always do my daily task sheet the night before. That way, when I wake up and I'm butt in seat, I know exactly what I'm supposed to get done. I can just start my day. And so, because God, what are you going to do? You have to eat another 30 minutes or another hour trying to fill out your daily task sheet for that same day is going to interrupt your flow. And so that's the thing, is at the end of every day, I know that everything I wrote down in my daily task sheet, whether or not that was a successful or productive day for me, I know now because it's written down and I know what I was supposed to achieve that day.
Oh my gosh. Preach, preach, preach. I'm over here showing you my notebook. For those that can't see, I've got my must-dos and I've got my nice to-dos, right?
Yeah.
They're going to keep me up at night. I'm going to be thinking, Erika, you're going to wake up tomorrow.
and that's the interesting. So I would love for your audience and for you to take a look at this sheet, because it's one of those, so like after 20 years, you can imagine how many iterations it's gone through. I would say that, saying it's gone over 100 revisions would probably be an understatement. Every task also is categorized as either long or short. If it takes less than 30 minutes for me to do, then it gets an S. If it takes longer than 30 minutes, it gets an L. And I know after 20 years that I can only do 2 long tasks in a day, 2, and that's it. So I need to be very purposeful, very conscious about how many L tasks that I have assigned that day. And I know that I can only get 4 short tasks done in a day. So I have really a total of 6 tasks, that I can get done in that one, work day, and still spend time with my wife. And, because that's important, is time with our family. And, and I know that in this great reset, we all, as a global community, reprioritized what's important to us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about balance. And we talk about how hard it is to find that sweet spot and that balance in this industry. So you hit it really nail on the head. Listen, we're going to have to do a part 2 to this.
I agree. I know. And I apologize because I know there's so many topics you want to cover and I keep hijacking it and sending to one.
I love it. This has been amazing. You have been an absolute treat. I'm fangirling super hard. I can't wait to have you back on the show. If our listeners are looking to find this cheat sheet, learn more about you, what is the best place for them to find your information?
Yeah, so what I'll do is you can download it from my homepage at alissaknight.com, and it's also on my LinkedIn Pulse feed right now as well. So by the time this episode airs, I'll have uploaded it to my homepage. So right now it's not there right now. It's only on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn Pulse feed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, Erika. Thank you, Jax. I appreciate both of you. And thank you again for always inviting me back as a guest. I love spending time with the both of you.
Can't wait to have you back. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Erika. Bye, Jax.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Two Cyber Chicks podcast with Erika and Jax. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.